What's going on, YouTube? This is Drano's back at it again, bringing you another video. So I know it's been a minute since I've last posted a video. I've actually been streaming quite a bit. Shameless plug already for you guys within the first couple seconds of the video. If you guys aren't following me already, give me a follow on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Dranos TV, same thing as my YouTube name. We're getting close to getting affiliate status, so I'm pretty excited about that. So definitely have a good time just playing a lot of different games, such as, well, not really much Madden 20 because we already know that I'm kind of burnt down on that already. But then also like MLB The Show, Call of Duty, even though I'm butt cheeks at that game, but it's okay. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun, just to try to relax before really putting in this grind time for Madden 21. So looking forward to that. So as you can see, though, for the title of today's video, we are actually going to be taking a look at some of the Regs team rankings that have been out for a little bit of time now. But just going to give my thoughts as far as who I think you're going to want to consider to use for Regs, just because typically, at least history has shown in the MCS that, the Madden Classic, if it's something that's even going to be a thing like in person, it is something that is played on regs. So obviously, most of us are going to be spending a lot of time on MUT, building up our teams, especially for like clubs and whatnot, which that's what I'm going to be mainly focused on as well. But at the same time, though, I think it is good to play regs too, because like I said, that's going to be where the first tournament's going to be on. Me personally, myself, I am planning on kind of putting my hand in the pot when it comes to trying to play money games. Now, obviously, nothing like ridiculous like some of these other Pro Madden players do and whatnot. But I think, with, playing money games, though, it does, give you good solid reps, as opposed to just playing just regular against casuals online. So, with that being said, as you guys can see, I do have, I think it's through Madden School. So shout out to Madden School. I know they've been huge when it comes to releasing all these rankings that have come out here recently. So taking a look, top five school or top five, almost said schools. I'm thinking NCAA at this point. Top five teams, really, in this case. So coming in at number one, I'm surprised to see New Orleans Saints. But obviously they've been pretty consistent over the last couple of years. But for me, I wouldn't consider using the Saints just because, number one, Breeze doesn't have Hot Route Master. He's really slow. He's going to be a statue in the pocket. He doesn't get escape artist. So for me, Saints aren't going to cut it, in my opinion. But Madden obviously thinks otherwise. Niners, if you're a guy that's going to play more like to the Madden 20 style where you're going to run the ball and play good defense, then I think the Niners are about as good of a team as you can get, to be honest with you. Not exactly sure. I have to go back and look to see if Garoppolo got any abilities. I don't think he did, to be honest with you, but we really don't know at this point. But yeah, if you're a guy kind of like how I play, to be honest with you, which is surprising because I'm usually, like I've mentioned in previous videos, I like to be very well balanced on offense. But last year, as with a lot of you guys, definitely went more towards the run meta, which, to be honest, if you're playing, passing, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage just because of how bad, that Send 7 blitz meta was. So, but like I said, I think the Niners, as much as it pains me to say that, being a Seahawks fan and the Niners being an arch rival of us, definitely a good team to go with. You couldn't go wrong. And then coming in, another team very similar to the Niners, we've got the Ravens. Obviously, you're going to have Lamar Jackson at your disposal at that point, the cover athlete, and their defense just got better, with adding Calais Campbell and Patrick Queen, who's going to be a good user in that case. So obviously, the Ravens are going to be a solid team in that case. Like I said, very similar to the Niners play. So for me, the team that I'm interested to be, in using is going to be the Bucks, just because of with Brady, with him being the only quarterback that gets Hot Route Master. So I'm excited to use that, and then all just the arsenal of weapons that he has at his disposal, and then obviously the defense is pretty solid too. The only area concerned, at least on the Bucks, is their secondary. But if you're able to make it work in the secondary, I feel like the Bucks could be a really good team in Madden. It wouldn't surprise me if the Bucks are like kind of that day one team that a lot of people are using, especially if they're passing. So the meta team from last year, the Cowboys, not as good as they were last year, to be honest with you. Just because I know their offensive line did take a hit with Travis Frederick going down, And their defense, from what I know now, it still has a lot of speed. But man, when you lose Byron Jones, and you know that he takes away that his half of the field, and knowing that I took a lot of comfort using the Cowboys, knowing that whenever I had Byron out there, he would take away one half of the field. But he's not there anymore, so. Um, I don't know if I would roll Dallas. I mean, it'd be something obviously we'd have to lab in that case. Then we've got the Eagles. I mean, I know they got a lot of speed at wide receiver with Marquise Goodwin and even Deshaun Jackson. Not exactly sure what abilities Carson Wentz has, and then they have Miles Sanders, and then Boston Scott. Who kind of was going wild at the Madden Classic last year, from what I remember, whenever Joke was using him. I'm not exactly sure what the Eagles defense is looking like, but um, I could see why, a lot of people would want to use the Eagles. Plus, if they have the same abilities that they did last year on the offensive line with nasty streak, I think they have two nasty streaks. Like, that's going to be wild. So we have that. Colts, I don't understand why the Colts are up there. Colts, I don't understand. Even Steelers, I mean, I can understand maybe because of the offense with like Juju, James Conner, and then their defense. I mean, they have Watt, and Minka. So I mean, I can understand defensively in that case. Steelers, that's ranked awfully high. Browns, again, I mean, everyone thought the Browns were going to be a solid Madden team last year, and then they kind of all just fell apart. I think with the Browns, it's just a matter of how you can make it work with Baker. Although I'm not gonna lie, their defense is looking pretty shaky though. So not exactly sure what we would, what would do there. And then I'm really surprised to see some of these other teams like the Bears. I mean, I'm not trusting Mitchell Trubisky with my life at all, so wouldn't recommend using that unless if you're just going to run the ball similar to like the Niners. But at that point, you're just better off using the Niners, in my opinion. Bills, they're kind of like and I'm not trying to throw any shade because I still think the Bills are a good team. They're kind of like the great value of the Ravens, to be honest, in that case. But again, I'm not exactly sure if I would trust Josh Allen. Their defense is really good, though. I will say that much. The LA Chargers, no, absolutely not. The way, like, some of these rankings are pretty crazy. I'm not even going to lie. Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers, although they didn't really do a whole lot to help him on offense, so I'm not exactly sure if I'd roll with them. The Patriots are going to be an interesting team, especially, once these live playbooks come out and they add from supposedly what they're going to add is they're going to add more play call or plays more towards the fit of like Cam Newton. So if you can find a way to get a Patriots playbook and you add a read option or like a QB blast, like that's GG's. That's going to be crazy because the Patriots over the last couple of years, they've had one of the best offensive playbooks. So that's going to be tough if you can add like a little bit of read option, QB blast element there. Raiders, no, definitely not. I'm surprised to see my team, and this is just me being biased, but I'm surprised to see the Seahawks this low because a lot of people, especially when it comes to like all these money games and whatnot, I see a lot of people run either the Seahawks or the Texans. That's what I mainly see a lot, and a lot of it is because that escape artist in that case. So, obviously you're going to have Russell, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. I can understand why, though, they're ranked so low, offensively, because their offensive line's still really shaky, and then their defense just lost Clowney, which was probably one of the only things going for them on defense. But that's fine. And, honestly, people are going to sleep on the Seahawks just like they do every year, and the Seahawks are going to go 10-6, 11-5. Win the division or wild card, whatever the case may be. So I'm not worried about it in that case. That's just me being biased, of course. And then just kind of looking at some sleeper teams. Texans, I don't trust them now that they got rid of Hopkins, even though they do have Deshaun with the escape artist. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Titans, no, I don't really see it. I was a big fan of the Vikings, although thinking about how everything that they've lost, in that case, although they could be a sleeper team if you're really dabbling. Now, for me, the number one sleeper team, and I hate this because they're in our division, is the Arizona Cardinals. Watch out for them if you're able to make some things happen because they have speed everywhere. You've got Kyler Murray with escape artist. You have Kenyon Drake, who's a serviceable running back. He's not like Zeke like he was last year. You have tons of speed at wide receiver. You have Isabella. You have Christian Kirk, Hopkins, and you have Larry Fitzgerald. So, like, for those guys that like to run spread a lot, like, that's going to be a beautiful team for you in that case. I'm not exactly sure who they have at tight end, to be honest with you, but when you have all those options at wide receiver, tight end's probably kind of your little check down or whatever. So you don't have to have like a baller out there. And then defensively, they're getting better. I know they still have Chandler Jones. They have Pat Pete. And their new draft pick Isaiah Simmons, who I hated how he dropped that far down to the Cardinals. I think Isaiah Simmons, especially in Mutt, at least for me, if I can get him as a user day one, I'm sold. I'm good. And then obviously they do have a couple other pieces in place like Buda Baker. So watch out for the Cardinals to be a sleeper team. And then just really looking through the rest of the way, I mean, I don't really see any other teams that kind of stand out. I'm interested to see what the Panthers do with their offense now with Matt Rule. I wonder if that playbook's going to change at any point. But yeah, I mean, that's just to kind of give my thoughts in terms of what I think as far as the Regs teams. And obviously, like I said, just to kind of preface, I feel like for me, my main focus is going to be on Mutt, just because I am planning on competing in the MCS this year. But you definitely can't sleep on Regs either. And it is nice to kind of shake things up a little bit too as well, just because I feel like with Regs, it's just so much different than Mutt. Obviously you're not dealing with all these like Pokemon abilities on every side of the ball in this case, even though like there are some teams that have more abilities than others, but I don't really notice it nearly as much as I do with Mutt when everyone has three abilities on each side of the ball. So gonna be interesting to see. What are your thoughts? Feel free to chime in the comments down below. Let me know. I mean, who's gonna be your ranked or your Regs team? Going into Madden 21. So I'm interested to hear that. So if you guys did enjoy this video, number one, I'd appreciate you guys hitting that like button. Been having a lot of fun here recently making these videos and then also streaming on Twitch. So go ahead and check those out. And if you guys are looking forward to more Madden 21 content, consider subscribing to the channel. And until the next one, guys, this is Dre Knows, and I'm signing out. Peace.